Senator Cyr and myself have filed legislation on behalf of the Nuclear Decommissioning Citizen Advisory Panel. The chair of the committee had reached out to us as we were conversing. This legislation was passed in August of 2016, and the goal was to really get a sense of, from the people, of the citizens, how this is going to affect this community, this decommissioning process, and what's best in the interest of the citizens. And so we put together this panel. They've done phenomenal work over the last 2.5 years that they've been formed. Spent a lot of time to help those of us here that surround the nuclear power plant, addressing the significant concerns of decommissioning a plant. And from that, the process has been finished. The plant has been decommissioned, is going through the process of decommissioning now. The plant's been closed. And so from our perspective, how do we continue the work of the NDCAP and what's in the best interest? And so the chair asked us that this was what they believed were lessons learned from all of the work that they did, and would allow for individuals to have the citizens a greater voice on this panel as they continue their work while that plant is being decommissioned. And so that's kind of the gist of this. We'll give a few more of the details of how this is going to play out, but I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague Julian Cyr. Of course, as you know, we jointly represent part of Cape Cod.
Yeah. Thank you. Senator DiMacedo has been a friend and a leader, not only to Cape Cod, but of course here in Plymouth, and glad to team up with you on this, as we do on almost everything. We have seen in the last, I think 2 or 3 years, that this is a plant where the panel the legislature established in 2016, prior to, this is before my time, they have not had all the tools or all the structure to really be as successful as we hope they could be. And what this really aims to do is restore the words citizen into the panel's work. The way the current panel is structured, essentially you have a number of state agencies which are sort of agnostic as to a number of the specifics. Of course, you have the utility, who has not been in favor of a lot of these protections. I think what's most critical is that, yes, health and safety around this plant are as far less concerning now the plant is no longer generating electricity, but so long as spent fuel remains at the site, and particularly the spent fuel in the fuel pool that's 6 stories up, that's a pretty, that remains a threat to health and safety. And so what we're trying to do, and we have the support of our colleagues, not only in the Cape and Islands delegation, but across southeastern Massachusetts here in Plymouth, is to make sure that this panel that was established by the legislature to really provide some oversight and citizen input onto the decommissioning of this facility, that's really the case. And so I think that, broadly, that because the way the panel was structured has meant that the panel has been forced to be more cautious than I think we hoped it would be, and certainly more so than the publicly appointed members of the panel want to be. So that's the aim of this legislation, and why we filed it. I think why we're going to be pushing for swift action in the legislation.
And so just so you know, just the basics of this legislation, it changes the makeup of the board. Those agencies will be non-voting members that are there. They're certainly going to be there for their expertise. We're going to be adding 2 positions in regards to Barnstable County. There's a lot of interest in Barnstable County in regards to the decommissioning of the plant, and so they in fact will pick up that opportunity. And since now we've already the plant has gone through the decommissioning phase, and they're there, they certainly will be still there, but they won't be voting members. The industry as well.